These spicy cocktail nuts make a great homemade gift.
Let's see what's cooking. It's time for Yo-Yo Max 12.
Now, I've actually made this recipe before on my channel. The first time I made this was back in June 15th, 2008, and it was my very first YouTube cooking video. And it is possibly the worst YouTube cooking video ever made. As you can see, the quality and the camera angle and everything else. I was actually filming this with a webcam kind of perched up onto a tripod. Anyway, it was my first try at a cooking video and not that great. So we're going to do this again. Now the first thing you're going to do is make up a seasoning mix. It's like a Creole seasoning mix. That's 1 1/4 tablespoons of paprika, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of salt, 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper, 1/2 tablespoon of onion powder, 1/2 tablespoon of cayenne powder, 1/2 tablespoon of dried oregano, and 1/2 tablespoon of dried thyme. And then just give that a good stir and set that aside. Now in a large bowl, you're going to place 1 egg white, a teaspoon of water, and then you're going to whisk it. Now I found this whisk at Value Village. I think it was like $2 or something, and I just thought it was so cute. So I'm using this to whisk the egg whites until they become foamy. Then you're going to add in 4 cups of nuts. Now you can use whatever kind you want. You can use a mixture. You could use all the same. If you can find them, use raw nuts. Now this is a combination of roasted and raw. I have raw pecans. I have roasted macadamia, roasted peanuts, and there's a few roasted almonds in there as well. The kind of nuts you use is completely up to you. The first time I did this, I used all almonds. And then just toss those nuts in the egg whites until they're all coated and there's no more egg white in the bottom of the bowl. Now you'll take 2 tablespoons of that Creole spice mix that we just made. Put that in a small bowl, 1/2 cup of sugar, and in true Yo-Yo Max fashion, realize that the bowl's too small, put it in a bigger bowl, and then you're also going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt and another 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. More if you want to. Give that a good stir, and then you're going to pour this on top of the nuts that are coated in the egg white, and you're going to give it a good stir until everything is nicely coated and there's no more of that sugar mixture in the bottom of the bowl. Then you'll take 1/2 of the nuts and spread them on a cookie sheet covered with parchment paper and spread them around so that everything is in a nice single layer. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other half on a second cookie sheet. Then you're going to bake these at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40-45 minutes, stirring every 15 minutes. Now after the 30-minute mark, take out a couple of the nuts, let them cool, and then taste them. If the coating is dry and the nuts are nice and crunchy, then the rest of them are done as well and you can take them out of the oven. And then once they're nice and cool, you can put them in a sealed container. Now in this case, I'm putting them in jars that I wanted to give away to family as part of their Christmas present. So to make the jars a little bit more pretty, I took some of my old Christmas cards that I had stored from years gone by. I used that lid to measure out a circle, and then I cut it out with a pair of scissors. Just make sure you cut on the inside of the line. And to decorate the lid, I put a little dab of hot glue there, and I found some festive ribbon that would match the color of the image that I cut out, and I just tied a regular bow in the ribbon. Now of course the way you decorate your jars is completely up to you, but this is a really simple way of decorating a jar that you're going to give to somebody for Christmas. Now you're going to put just a couple little dabs of glue on that inside lip of that jar ring, and then you're going to place your little cutout and stick it in there. Now the reason you use a little bit of glue is that you want the image to stay put when you screw that ring onto the jar. Otherwise it's going to spin around, and it's just cuter to have the image right side up in relation to the bow. And there you go. Now that Creole seasoning mix makes enough for 2 batches of these nuts. So what I did with the other half is I mixed it with the sugar and the salt and the extra cayenne, and I put it in this little Ziploc bag with a little tag on it with the recipe. So Now, when you give these nuts to somebody, and people are going to absolutely love them, I guarantee it, you can give them an extra little packet of seasoning mix. All they have to do is add the nuts and some egg whites, and they can make their own the next time. And here they are. These are absolutely delicious. They are not super spicy. They just have a tiny little bit of heat, and they are wonderful. And I absolutely love these so much. The recipe makes enough to fill 3 2-cup mason jars. And here's a close-up of the cute little jar lids that I made. Now I have an entire playlist full of things you can do with recycled Christmas cards. So hold on to all your Christmas cards or buy some on sale after Christmas, and you'll have a bunch to use next year to make some great crafts. Thanks for watching.